Welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up?
Derek, we're at a church.
We sure are.
First time ever in our span.
Yeah, not in our life. We've been to church before.
Correct. I'm just surprised I didn't have to walk in with a hard hat. But no, we're good. So we have a guest, and we should start with introductions, and then we're going to dive into your role, because this is the first sports club that we've had on our show. So there's a lot of different questions that, we've talked about off camera, just so that we can kind of highlight things that you do here in regards to the community. So you want to start by introducing yourself, and then we'll just roll right into it?
All right. My name is Darrell Glover, the president and CEO of Lackawanna Sports Club Incorporated. I'm born and raised here in Lackawanna.
Okay.
Went to Lackawanna High School, graduated back in 2003. Always played sports. I was able to use sports to go to college, and now I'm back home trying to deliver the same thing to the kids.
What did you do in college?
I actually went to school for a computer science degree. I went to University of Texas, El Paso. I tried out for football, blew my knee out, so I pursued getting a degree. Once I was done, I got homesick. My grandmother fell a little ill, so I moved back home, and I've been home ever since.
Do you miss Texas, though?
The weather, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
What other sports did you play growing up?
Growing up, I've always been basketball and football. I've tried baseball, but I've always been a big guy, so baseball wasn't it. But that's pretty much all we had, basketball, baseball, and football around when I grew up.
Now, when you were a kid, were you a part of kind of this type of organization?
Actually, the same organization that I'm a part of in tackle, I was a part of Lackawanna Lulu. I wasn't able to play too many years, but I played a couple of years there, and that's pretty much it. There was no basketball organization back when I grew up. There was only Boys Association Baseball and Lackawanna Lulu football.
Okay. And then now, Lackawanna offers what sports?
Right now we have not only just tackle football, we have flag football, we have basketball through LA Sports Club, we have baseball through Lackawanna Youth Diamond Sports, and we also have soccer through Soccer for Success.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so outside of the organization, how do kids normally get involved in sports then?
Just going to the local playground.
Wow.
If you're not a part of the organization, you just meet up with your friends. We have Jeff Taggart. The playground's about 5 acres big. So the kids just normally play the sports there.
No kidding. So do you guys play other towns' sports clubs, or like Little Loops? So like Hamburg Little Loop, for example?
In tackle football, yes.
Okay.
Baseball, not at the moment, but that's something that they're trying to do with the older divisions. With basketball, we just introduced first time this year our AAU basketball team. So not only will we be attempting to try to play other towns, but we plan on taking our AAU team somewhat possibly across country if possible.
That's
A
awesome.
travel team, huh?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's exciting too.
That's a huge undertaking, too, because do you have to get support or funding or grants or anything like that from other individuals or governments, or?
All of the above.
Okay.
Of course, you need the community support. We have the great support of St. Anthony's that allows us to use the church as our hub. We have a great support from Mr. Sanders, who always helps out for us, and the community and the parents. My parents are huge. Having the good parents and the stable family, they've been able to support us the most.
Sure. So bringing it all the way back, when you went to college, at what point did you say, I don't want to pursue this path anymore, and I want to get into the sports club? Was it because you benefited so much of this when you were younger?
No, not really, because like I said, we didn't have this. I think up until I was 12, we had what was called the Friendship House.
Sure.
Similar to, what we have here at St. Anthony's. They would have programs. They had a gym. We would go play, and we would enjoy it. And when I went to college, I went for computers. I continued to get my computer degree, and I didn't think about as far as a sports club idea until I moved home. And a buddy was like, hey, what are you doing in your free time at work? I'm like, nothing, just sitting at home. He was like, how about we, try to train the kids? Imagine if we had the training when we were in high school, how good we would have been. I was all state. Imagine if I trained or actually knew how to lift weights. I could have probably been, bigger than that. So a buddy of mine and a couple of friends got together. We joined this club, and it's been like that ever since.
So you graduated with a 4-year degree?
Yes.
In computers?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you moved back here, did you have a full-time job in that realm?
Actually, no, not when I first started. I just kind of picked up any job that came to pay the bills.
Okay.
Now, currently, I own my own business, Dr. Fix It, electronics and computers.
sweet.
So I fix computers with that degree. Other than that, I'm attempting to pursue a teaching degree, and I work for the YWCA as a lead teacher. So
Where did all this come from?
Good for you, man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
just pretty much, for the kids. The teaching degree came after the kids.
Okay.
With all the coaching, and I was so good with the coaching, some of the teachers that were parents were like, hey, you get the kids to respond well to you. Have you thought about teaching? No, I've only thought about building computers, and I love football. So they asked me to go ahead and go to, try out the YWCA. I tried out the YWCA. I became a lead teacher. The program loved me. And then from there, they were like, oh, go ahead and get a school age teacher certificate. I did that. I'm in pursuance of that. So it's just on and on within the company of the YWCA that I decided to be a teacher.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're done with that, or you're?
Well, obviously, right now they're not in school, so it's an after-school
Oh, yeah.
program.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
With them not being in school, there's no after-school program.
Sure.
So we're not doing that at the moment, but we did some virtual stuff, and we just still going to school, I guess.
So when you first came into the organization, what sports were initially offered, and what was it like expanding the sports?
When I first came, we all had this big dream of trying to incorporate every sport possible, but just on a training scale. So basketball, football, baseball, and soccer, but just for training. Of course, through some other entities, they fell through, so we only stuck with just football. Once we stuck with football on a training scale, we elevated to basketball and flag football, and it just kind of grew over the years. We've been around for about 5 years now. So year one, it was just football and flag football. Year two became all basketball, and basketball has really been our catalyst at this point.
Is there an age range? Because I miss football, so if there's a flag football thing for me,
We'll tear our ACL, man. We can't be doing that stuff anymore.
I'm gonna pull a hammy. You're probably gonna tear an ACL.
It's funny that you said that because I'm currently on IR from playing adult flag football. So I go to physical therapy, what I call pain and torture, because I kind of slightly tore my meniscus, but I shouldn't be out there. These guys with the flag football team, they're between the ages of 18 and as old as me.
Oh, cool.
So I have that, and I have an adult kickball team that's through the city. So we do have some things for ages ranging from 3 all the way up until 50. If you think you can get out there and play, and we got a division for you, go ahead and do it. I just advise have good insurance.
So you talk about the actual program itself. What type of training do you do? So you don't have a sports management degree. So how are you training these
No,
kids?
so most of our training is on a fitness level.
Okay.
Most of the stuff that we do are just based on knowledge of either playing the sport,
Sure.
or we continue to educate ourselves so we can grow. Like I said, I was good at basketball. I wasn't really, versed at at football until when it came to the training that I started the club. I played football, but training football was different.
Way different.
Way different. Same with basketball. Once I started to become a basketball trainer, I had to take classes. I have to learn more things. So it's all about what we wanted to do when we wanted to grow. So I didn't know the sport, and then I just went ahead and studied the sport.
Good for you.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, in regards to equipment, the logistics behind the operation, who's kind of in charge of that? And then how does that whole aspect work? Because I'm sure obviously it's a loaded question, but.
Yes. Well, first of all, my team in the club right now is down to 5 people. It's me, my fiance Michelle, and a couple other board members. So we all just kind of, divvy out the work as it comes. One of the great things that we have is we have a sponsor, Victory Sports Outreach, Doug Riffenberg. They supply almost 90% of our equipment. So by donation, they were able to kickstart our organization with basketballs, hurdles, ladders, cones, anything that we needed as far as on a training thing. So we just pretty much talked to Doug. Hey, Doug, we need these balls and whatever we need. And Doug, make sure we have it. And we just store it here at either our storage or St. Anthony's.
Wow.
are people able to just come and personally donate their stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We recently just had a parent whose son didn't like baseball, and she went ahead and donated the baseball equipment. We don't do baseball training now, but we were able to go ahead and provide that to Doug, who refurbishes it, and go ahead and donate it to an organization who could use it.
That's awesome. So how is it working with the church? Because you're not directly tied to the church, right? You're using
Correct.
this as a hub. So what was that communication like? How did that start, and how has it been since then?
I would say when the schools weren't available anymore.
Sure.
Once the schools weren't available, we got in touch with Deacon Mike, who was, grateful with what we were doing with the community and was just wondering how can he help. And lo and behold, he had a whole basketball gym. It's not state of the art as he state, but it works and it gets the job done, and we're grateful for it. So just supplying us this facility is pretty much all we needed from the church. And it's been lovely. I'm sitting here just getting goosebumps because without the church, a lot of things we wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. So this might be another loaded question, but I'm interested in your perspective as to why kids need to be a part of this club, because you have to see all sorts of kids that come through here.
Correct.
So what is your thoughts on why kids need a sports club and just an environment to do this in?
Well, all sports clubs are different. The LA Sports Club, however, is the way we do the club. It's not based on, the best kid. We're not glamoring, who can run the fastest. It's based off of everyone. So whether your skill is not there, we're going to help you get there. We make it a family-oriented environment. And also, all kids need some type of team atmosphere. Not only just with sports, we have chess and a young gentleman's club. So even with the kids not being with the sports, they're having that opportunity to make friends of all nationalities and, get that team feel. Because when they have the chess matches, oh man, you should hear them. So, yeah.
Well, they just talk back and forth.
Oh man, you would think that they were in there playing football. And you tell them, hey, you can't talk mess, but when they take each other pieces and they just get.
Chess is an art too.
Yes,
that's awesome.
So do you coach chess?
No, actually, that was Tyler that left. Tyler was our main chess teacher. He was great at chess. I actually just learned everything on Google. Tyler helped me. Our Lackawanna Recreation Department director, Brian Laxo, he's also like a chess master. So we just kind of, followed each other, built a little team, got the kids involved, and LA Sports Club Chess.
When he told me he coaches chess, I've known him 20 years. And when he told me, I go, first of all, you've never told me that. Yeah. And then he's like, well, it's just one of those things. I'm like, it's not just one of those things. Like Tyler and chess, I just don't, I've never thought that would be a thing, but that's a thing. And that's what basically opened this whole thing up. Because I'm like, if all of that is going on, we have to talk about it, because the Lackawanna community in itself is very, very close knit.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand that unless they're kind of in it. And then when you're in it, you realize, damn, like these people really care about
each other.
Yes. And Lackawanna. And it's there's a lot of pride when someone tells you where they're from. And each area of Buffalo is different, but Lackawanna is basically the same. It's like, I'm from Lackawanna, don't mess with it. Like, don't mess with me. Like, it's just it's this awesome community. So when you have the community support in specifically where we are, is it kind of known at this point where all the kids are just like, why aren't you at the club? Like, what are you doing not there?
Either that, or when you see the kids, I can't, is it flag, when does flag football start? Or when does chess start back?
I'm doing that. I'm not even from here.
Yes, so they're all one way tied to another. So I might have not been your friend in football, but we meet each other in chess. I might not be athletic, but now we both got an opportunity to bounce ideas off each other. And here you have the star running back, talking and communicating and making friendships with this guy who would never pick up a ball. So it's situations like that just blows my mind with the kids.
So sorry, Darrell.
No, you're good.
have you seen like the star running back play chess and then the star chess player play football when they've never been in that realm before?
Not as much with football, but with chess. Most
Okay.
of my players are based off of the tackle football organization. That's when I started. I started coaching tackle football. So all those kids kind of, are cultivated through the club. And, now that I see those guys, you'll see the ones who not a part of football, but sign up for chess or the Young Gentlemen's Club. And you'll get to know them and you'll see, great minds think alike, whether it's on the sports field or the chessboard. So.
Can you go into the Young Gentlemen's Club a little bit and what that it really is?
Now, the Young Gentlemen's Club basically is how I pretty much explain it as teaching young boys to grow into men.
Gotcha.
They learn things from tying their tie, table etiquette, stock market. They, how to save in a bank account. We try to, volunteer throughout the community and do community service.
Don't spend it.
Much as, yeah. Yeah, that's the best advice. Don't spend and invest it. Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting that you teach that because schools don't for some reason.
Yeah, and that's why we teach it.
Yeah, that's a huge thing that we talk about and our generation talks about is if they would have taught me how to save and tie a tie and do my taxes rather than showing me the quadratic formula, I might be better off right now.
Exactly.
So was that a program that you built from the ground up and you said this is what I want incorporated, or how did that program layout work?
Actually, no. I pretty much looked at my son and was just like, I want to go ahead and teach you how to be a gentleman. We went ahead and we Googled a few things of what I was lacking on. And as I realized, I was like, wait, nobody showed me some of this stuff. So, and I'm like, there's a book called 101 Ways to Be a Gentleman. And once I, kind of read this book and I'm realizing there's a lot of stuff that I could teach these kids that's in this book. So through research and Google's my best friend.
Absolutely.
I developed the Young Gentlemen's curriculum. And through that, we teach the kids all the tying a tie, the stock market and things like that.
For each one of these programs or even sports clubs that you create, do you have to work with Lackawanna or the city or anything like that?
Not all of them, but for location-wise. Currently, right now, our biggest thing is we don't have a location. So everything we do is remote. So we work with Lackawanna Municipal Housing to use their playground, the church to use the gym here, or the city to use Veterans Stadium on South Park.
Gotcha.
Have you experienced anybody kind of grow up and then go through the club and then come back and tell you what they were grateful for and how the club has changed them, or no?
Not yet. It's only been 5 years. But again, like I said, I still see the kids throughout the neighborhood. Some of them work at the local Tim Hortons and, pulling up to Tim Hortons hearing, Coach D, is that you? And, no, that's not Coach D, you're supposed to have all that sugar. I'm going to tell Miss Michelle. So, things like that.
They're calling you out?
Yeah, definitely calling me out. Or watching them become young parents and graduate from high school and, do things in life that, are bigger than sports. That's, I haven't had anybody come back, but watching them do that and going, all right, you're doing good, that's beneficial there.
That's awesome.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's great that you're doing this, and we're so excited to talk to you because this is something that every community should have.
Yeah, definitely.
So is this right now, do you have any girl sports or any unisex sports?
Everything is co-ed currently.
Cool.
We're also working into building sort of like a young ladies club, like we do the Young Gentlemen's Club.
Nice.
But everything is intertwined unless it's travel sports. Right now we're working on an AAU girls basketball team, but no, not much interest when it comes to girls sports.
Sure.
Okay. And is that lack of interest in regards to just the response you're getting from either just the kids or is it parents as well?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because we don't separate the two. We make everything co-ed. So I might not want my daughter, to play, amongst a bunch of, boys just yet if she never played the sport before. So with that happening, once we start to grow more and we can separate the two, then we'll have more, I believe, girls.
Okay.
What is your outreach like? How do you get people to come join the club? Is it all word of mouth or do you do advertising?
Word of mouth and social media.
Okay.
Through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, we were able to have over 220 kids this year. Wow. And not one flyer, not one email, maybe a couple phone calls. But most of the time I see the kids, they tell their friends tell their parents, and the parents hunt me down to sign it up.
Is there a commitment to it? Like, if you join the football team, do you like have to stay? I mean, that's kind of a weird question because most kids will want to stay for the whole season. But is there like a commitment that you have to be here for a year if you join or anything like that?
No, not at all. It's actually each program is on a rotating 6-week basis, so it's only like 6 clinics. So you'll pay for a session. You can come all 6. You can miss a couple. I've had some parents that, they thought their child were going to sign up and not show up at all. And they, went ahead and we discussed that matter then. But other than that, no, there's no commitment. Travel is different, though. We try to ask the kids to, if we can't make it serious. It's only going to be as serious as you want it. So,
man,
if someone signs up for travel, they should have like a signing day.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean? They come down, they sit down, they sign it. They're like, this is it. This is it. Real deal.
I didn't think about that. I might throw that in there because we just made the teams last week.
Okay.
So, yeah, that might be a good idea.
It just might make it that much more legit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like,
Yes.
I've never had that.
No, I didn't either. Even when I went to college, you know how they had National Signing Day? I walked on the UTEP, so I never had that experience. So, yeah, no, that sounds cool.
I like that. That's a good idea. Heard it here first.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, look at you, Mike. Are you going to come down here and do it all for them?
I'll just be in the back holding the banner.
Right.
So what other sports, I know we talked about like what's available right now, but what's next? What do you want to improve this program to be?
Street hockey.
Nice.
I thought you were going to be like curling. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right here in the neighborhood called Bethlehem Park, they have a makeshift ice hockey rink that they obviously were using for floor hockey. I believe I've tapped every sport that I can physically. And I thought I wanted to cultivate Bethlehem Park by doing street hockey. So that's the next sport. So.
Have you ever thought about bringing in people from the sports to talk to the kids about the sport?
Yes.
Okay.
I try to do that with the high school players or some of our local legends. We've had some legends here that, for whatever reason could have went pro. And, they've had some good perspectives on life that we allowed them to talk to the kids as well.
Like who?
Men in Action is one. They have some of our great, elders in the community. Ray Braxton Sr., who's currently going for school board, is actually, one of the best running backs that came out of Lackawanna. He was actually featured on ESPN, so that's pretty good in this little city. But guys like that. And on our board, we have the father of Jeff Taggart. He actually his playground is named after him, and he was a great basketball player. His dad is on our board. He gives us good input and things like that.
That's amazing. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do parents get involved like in the club itself, or do they just kind of let the kids go and do whatever they want?
Either or.
Okay.
You get some parents who want to coach. Like I said, I didn't know basketball, so I'd say it every day. I didn't know basketball, but I learned it. You're willing to learn it. I could show you the pointers where I learned it, and you'll be just as good as me. But or they'll help Michelle with the administrative duties or the table. When we have our fundraisers, I pretty much let the ladies handle the fundraisers, and I step aside.
Yeah, they're really good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you said 220 plus kids.
Yes.
It was 222, 225.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
Okay, so, and you said there were 5 people that kind of divvy up all the work. Is there a number where you're like, if we reach 300, we got to bring somebody else on?
Not really.
Okay.
With the board, we like to keep it with
Small.
just 5 people. As far as volunteering, anyone can help. We never turn down help. Anyone want to, just sweep, dust mop the floor, help wax, anything. We never deny anyone that wants to help.
That's a good point. Was that part of the agreement or conversation with the church where they're like, use this, however, like every Tuesday, wax, buffer,
No,
things like
actually,
that?
no. There wasn't no agreement at all. That was just something that we decided that we would want to do.
Wow, okay.
Because we are using it. We're one of the only people using it. So
Part of the gentleman's club.
Yeah.
Clean up after yourself.
Oh yeah, Leave it better than you found it.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not surprising, but it's kind of surprising that the church is just like, yes, God bless, and then that was
Deacon,
it.
That's why, like I said, I was excited. Deacon Mike,
Right.
really looks out for us.
He sounds like a boss.
Yeah.
That's a solid name.
So for volunteering, how can people reach out to you? What is your social media? Where can people find the events that you're doing and the fundraisers, actually? Before we get into that, what type of fundraisers are you doing? Because I want to make sure that I hit on that before we stop. But like fundraisers.
Currently, right now, the only fundraiser we have is a Mother's Day raffle, where we're going to have a couple of prizes that we raffle off by selling tickets. We generally do a lot of barbecues or parties, beer blasts, but due to the type of season, we haven't been able to host a gathering. But generally, that's the only fundraiser that we have. As far as where people can reach out, they can email us at lasportsclub716@gmail.com. We have our own website, which is www.lasportsclub716.com, or they could contact me via text message on my phone number, 716-930-0578. If you call me, more than likely I won't answer.
I always respond to text way more than phone calls.
It's
When people call you, it's just like, why are you, text me, and then just hang up.
I'm known for that.
It's just so much more convenient. So anything else that you want to touch on, and like any future plans or anything that you want to announce?
No, we're planning on doing a summer basketball camp. We're also looking at launching a football training camp that's starting within the next couple of weeks in Jeff Taggart Playground. The only thing I like to say, if you want your kids signed up, go ahead and reach out, and you won't regret it. Trust me.
Not at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We love what you're doing, man. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
And seriously, if you're a part of a town board or anything, implement something like this in your town. It's so beneficial, and kids need this community involvement.
Yes, definitely, because it works in the long run. Like I said, I see these kids in the local Tim Hortons, being parents and young adults, and, seeing their respect level that they have for not just me, but anybody else. I know that some of that had to have come from the clubs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, fellas.
Absolutely.